You want to race me till there?
Till there?
Oh, well, there.
Give me your helmet.
No. Hey, that's not for you. I'll tell you what. I'll give it to you. But first, race me till there.
Jamshedji Tata.
That's right. He was a man with a dream.
A dream?
Yes. A vision of a new India.
And did his dream come true?
Yes, his dream came true. It took time and determination, and it was a long adventure.
But first, there was the search. The search for iron ore, coal, water. All the things necessary for a steel plant. Jamshedji's explorers went far and wide, searching tirelessly. Jamshedji knew the great heritage of his country. What India once was, and what she could once again be. He saw the future of India molded in indestructible steel. He traveled to faraway shores with samples of coking coal and iron ore. Some of these travels ended in disappointment, but Jamshedji never gave up. And one day, he found just the man he was looking for. Charles Page Perrin, the famous American engineer who knew more about steel than anybody else. Together they traveled back to India to build the steel plant of Jamshedji's dreams. Meanwhile, in a faraway place called Durg, another man was involved in a similar search. A geologist called P.N. Bose had found iron ore deposits in the hills of Rajhara and Dhali. And though Bose and Jamshedji never met, their individual efforts changed India's industrial future. For it was Bose's map that led Jamshedji's explorers to Durg, where they found iron ore of an exceptional quality. But no coal, no water. The search continued. And then, 26 years after Jamshedji's adventure had begun, at the confluence of the Subarnarekha and Karkai, they found the perfect place for India's first steel plant. The unknown tribal who drove in the first take little knew that he was laying the foundations for a new India. The first perfect ingot rolled out of the Tata Steel factory on the 16th of February, 1912. The dream had come alive, but the dreamer had passed away, leaving the blueprint of a new India in the hands of trusted custodians who were to turn it into a reality. Decades later, Tata Steel has come a long way. The first steel plant in India supplies over 13% of the nation's steel production. This means a colossal 2.3 million tons of crude steel produced in 1990. A formidable turnover of over 2,000 crore rupees and a net profit touching 150 crore rupees. Over 73,000 men work at Tata Steel. These men not only produce steel, but part of a far greater endeavor. They are building a nation. They are serving a people. Bringing India, who in 1911 could not even produce a decent pin, to an India who in 1990 is one of the top 10 industrial nations of the world. India needs steel. By 2000 AD, the demand will reach 25 million tons for quality steel at less cost. 1983, a forward thrust at Tata Steel. As liquid metal moves towards the LD converter, a 60-year-old process gives way to an era of oxygen steel making. Now hot metal turns to clean steel in 50 minutes, not 8 hours. The 130-ton vacuum arc degassing and refining unit, one of the largest in the world. With it, Tata Steel opens its glowing chapter of special alloy steel. Steel refined to meet the most stringent demands of sophisticated technology brings India blazing into the industrial forefront. Skilled men watch over the 6-strand continuous billet caster or the concast. An alternative route to conventional ingot casting. Rivers of gold keep the blaze flowing. Energy consumption is minimized as production picks up. The high-speed single-strand bar and rod mill, responding to the nation's need at 85 meters per second. Gleaming with exceptional metallurgical quality, 300,000 tons roll out per annum from a state-of-the-art mill. Per long bar forging entire mill. $18,000 tons of carbon and alloy steel per annum. A triumph of technology that has markets firmly in its grip. Strips snake towards Tata Tubes, a pioneer company where 3 processes of tube making take place under one roof. ERW tubes, precise, custom designed, meticulously quality controlled, meet every demand of industry. Seamless tubes created for high pressure and sophisticated applications such as oil exploration in the deep seas, where a minute flaw could mean a waste of crores. The magic of steel takes the shape of over 4 million bearings. Ball bearings, taper roller and cylindrical roller bearings. Made from special carbon chromium steel, Tata bearings have increased endurance. Computerized testing guarantees quality.
Jamshedji Tata had thought of many things. Not only did he plan a steel city, he also thought about the way we would live, the way we would think.
So many years ago?
Yes, he had seen it all in his mind's eye. And he told his sons, be sure to lay wide streets planted with shady trees. Be sure that there's plenty of space for lawns and gardens. He wanted us to live together, Hindus, Muslims, and Christians.
Jamshedji's successors carried his dream to fruition and made Tatas world leaders in giving the best benefits to their employees. In 1912, for the first time in the world, Tata Steel introduced the 8-hour working day. It was legislated 36 years later. Maternity benefit, a Tata Steel gift in 1928, law in 1946. The Accident Compensation Scheme for Workers, introduced in 1920, enforced legally in 1924. Retiring gratuity. Tata Steel's assurance to its people since 1937, legislated 35 years later. The warp and weft of welfare spreads beyond the worker to community centers in and around the city. And far beyond the city limits, in centers dedicated to tribal and rural development, a life of opportunity has brought a special song and a smile to the lips of the people. The stillness of the dawn is broken to usher in a new day. Tempering the hardness of quality ore is Tata Steel's concern for ecology. As tribals green the mining faces, man restores to nature's bounty the richness he removes. One of the company's captive ore mines, Noa Mundi, is a veritable treasure chest. It is also fully mechanized. Blue dust, rich in iron. 30% of Noa Mundi's deposits consist of this powdery ore, which would have lain waste, but for the unique vision of Tata Steel's modernization program. A process called sintering now conserves resources by converting these fines into an agglomerate. And at the West Bokaro collieries, technology brings the coal fields out of the past. An aerial tramway system transports 7,000 tons of raw coal per day to the washeries. Coal, washed to reduce its ash content, is loaded automatically and carried to Jamshedji. The bedding and blending yard, where materials are layered and blended. Making better coke for the best steel. Stamp charging, adaptive technology which crushes coal, then pounds it into cakes. This makes coke denser, stronger, more able to withstand the rigors of the blast furnace. The blast furnace at Tata Steel enhanced with a movable throat armor. The rotating chute, a glowing salute to the Tata Steel men, to the continuous search for excellence. The search for excellence is personified by Tata Steel's dynamic chairman. For Rusi Modi, a step forward in technology is simple. He seeks the challenge of taking minds a step ahead.
We're the most tolerant people in the world. We tolerate all kinds of things except another person's opinion. We are a highly successful nation outside India. Wherever an Indian goes, whether he's selling blue jeans in Piccadilly Circus or whether he's an atomic scientist, the Indian is a success. The only place where he's not a success is in India. And that is because we are not allowed to be successful here. I get shocked when I see people with brooms sweeping the floors in houses, in shops and so on. And the obvious answer is to give him a vacuum cleaner. But I don't want to give him a vacuum cleaner. I want to create an atmosphere in which he will ask for the vacuum cleaner. Then the vacuum cleaner will have a purpose. It will have served a dual purpose, not only to collect dust, but it will make the man think a little more modernly, or think a little more as to how life can be easier if he'll only take the initiative.
At the R&D division, a new generation steps ahead to take the initiative, honing technology till it is more economical, developing new ways to conserve resources, adapting global know-how to Indian conditions. Taking a thought from a book and turning it into reality. Open Sesame, the silent world of the controlling brain where every information is logged. The flow of steel making is monitored. Computers, another first for Tata Steel. In fact, the Information and Facility Center, where hands-on experience for every employee has made computers a way of life. And at the computer-aided design cell, it is the mind of man that creates the shape of the crane. It is the mind of man that gives it life in the growth shop. Equipped with the finest fabrication and machining facilities, the growth shop was begun to meet an import shortage. Today, it has graduated to manufacturing a range of custom-built precision products for export. Far from the steel city, in markets around the world, the name of Tata Steel is synonymous with quality, not only for steel products or engineering products, but also for unrelated products, such as shrimps, coffee, and chrome ore. The company is now charting a new course through collaborations with world leaders, like Timken, MAN, and Korf.
The story of Tata Steel is the story of ongoing adventure. The story of men who are not just workers drawing wages, but also members of a family.
A family that has lived together generation after generation in harmony for over 60 years. The restless spirit starts young. Tata Football Academy, a symbol of the Tata Steel philosophy. The spirit must never rest. Each turning facet of sports reflects man proving himself in the field of life. aiming higher, reaching further, forging ahead.
If you want to plan for a year, plant corn. If you want to plan for 30 years, plant a tree. But if you want to plan for 100 years, plant men.